Imagine being born into a world where every single day is a fight for survival. No medicine, no electricity, no clean water, and no guarantee you'll live past childhood. This isn't a dystopian movie, it's real history. And today, we're diving into the absolute worst time in history to be born as a human. Stay with me because what you're about to hear will make you grateful for the life you have right now. Throughout history, humans have endured famine, war, disease, and disasters. But one era stands out as a nightmare beyond imagination: the 14th century, during the Black Death. Picture this: you're born in a small European village. By the time you're 5, half the people you know are gone, entire towns vanish in weeks. The plague doesn't discriminate, it takes rich and poor, young and old. And the worst part? Nobody knows why. People think it's punishment from God or that the air itself is poisoned. Fear spreads faster than the disease. If you were poor, life was brutal even without the plague. You worked from sunrise to sunset just to eat stale bread. Childhood barely existed, most kids didn't survive past the age of 5. If you did, congratulations, you were now old enough to work the fields or be drafted into endless wars. Imagine being handed a rusty sword, no training, and told to fight for a king you've never met. And if you thought war was bad, famine was worse. Crops failed, winters were freezing, and hunger was constant. People ate grass, bark, even leather, just to stay alive. But wait, it gets worse. The plague wasn't just killing people. It was destroying society. Families abandoned each other. Priests refused to give last rites. Entire cities smelled of death. And if you survived the plague, you still faced brutal punishments for crimes, torture devices that make horror movies look tame, and a justice system where guilt or innocence didn't matter. Life expectancy? Barely 30 years. Every day was a gamble. Here's the crazy part. While Europe was drowning in misery, other parts of the world were thriving. In China, the Ming dynasty was rising, bringing art, science, and stability. In the Middle East, scholars were advancing medicine and mathematics. So depending on where you were born, your life could be either a nightmare or a golden age. Imagine the frustration of knowing that somewhere else, people were living in relative peace while your world was collapsing. Now let's compare this to today. If you get sick, you Google symptoms or see a doctor. Back then, a doctor might tell you to drink crushed emeralds or bleed yourself with leeches. We complain about slow UV. They prayed for survival every single day. We worry about deadlines. They worried about whether they'd live to see tomorrow. It's almost impossible to imagine the level of suffering people endured, yet it was normal for them. Think about the mental toll. Growing up surrounded by death, never knowing if your family would survive the week. Superstition ruled everything. People believed cats carried evil spirits, so they killed them, ironically making the plague worse because rats multiplied. Fear shaped every decision. Hope was rare. And joy? It was fleeting, often crushed by the next disaster. So, was the 14th century the absolute worst time to be born? For millions, yes. But here's the twist. Those struggles forced humanity to adapt. The plague reshaped economies, weakened feudal systems, and eventually led to the Renaissance. Out of the darkest chapter came innovation, art, and progress. It's a brutal reminder that sometimes suffering pushes humanity forward. So next time you complain about slow internet or a long line at Starbucks, remember, you could have been born in the 14th century, where survival itself was a miracle. History's worst times remind us how lucky we are today. If you want to explore more insane moments from history, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep uncovering the past together.